Anyway, shout out to Waffles. Hey guys, welcome. This is a very chill, I feel, day, kinda. I think I'm wearing the same outfit I wore last week, so if that's the case, mind your business. I did wash this sweatshirt in between, but yeah, I'm like 90% sure that this is like the same thing I wore last week, which is whatever, I feel, because again, I have a washing machine. I did wash this sweatshirt, but don't call me out for it. I know it's the same one. I don't know. I have a couple things to talk about today, but one thing I'm kind of thinking of is, this is going to sound so stupid. Like, I'm kind of burnt out. Not like, okay, let me explain this because don't take this the wrong way. I'm not burned out of doing the podcast. I really enjoy the podcast. It's something that I feel a lot of passion about. It's something that I genuinely love to do. But it is so hard to come up with things to talk about every week. I think I need to, this is just me thinking out loud, I think I need to restructure the way that I talk about things. Maybe I should dedicate like 1 week a month as a deep dive, 1 week a month is whatever, because we do book of the month and that takes up a lot of time, but that's once a month. So maybe I just need to figure that out, because I think it's part of the reason why I wouldn't make a good influencer, even though I said last week I would make a good influencer. So how ironic how the tables have turned. I just don't have enough interesting stuff to fill that time. You know what I mean? I just don't have enough interesting about me to be like, this is what I'm doing today, guys. And it's something new and unique that I don't do every day. I have a routine and I stick to my routine and I do the same stuff week in and week out. So I just don't have, I just don't have a life that is interesting to look at from an outside perspective, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just feeling a little bit even though I have things to talk about tonight, I don't know, coming up with stuff to talk about each week is difficult. So I guess you can look forward to me restructuring that perhaps to include maybe some themes for each week, because I think that would make things a lot easier. I think it makes a lot more sense, rather than just let me sit down and run my mouth for 25 to 40 minutes, depending on how much I have to talk about. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with that. I would really love to do the deep dives. I miss doing deep dives. I would love to spend time, maybe once a month, just really researching a topic that I enjoy and then presenting that information to you. I think that's really cool. I like podcasts that do that. I listen to a lot of podcasts that do that. So I think that is one thing that I'll do. 1 week I'll do that. Obviously 1 week we do book of the month. That'll be next week. And so yeah, if you have any other ideas, I am open to feedback. If you want to hear something, I am open to hearing it. I am open to entertaining those ideas, because yeah, it's not just me. I want my audience to enjoy the things that I put out, obviously. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of a thought that I'm having, and a struggle it's not really a struggle, but it is true. I do other stuff throughout the week. This is not my main job. This is not my main thing that I do. So I have that and this on top of it, which most passion projects are like that, which this is what this is. But yeah, that is just the reality of I am exhausted. By the time my actual week is over, I'm tired. So anyway, not to burden you with my issues, let's move on. So we all know the joke that Bruno Mars is in debt, right? He can't leave Vegas because he is in so much gambling debt. Well, he's been releasing songs just left and right. He is trying to get out of that debt, okay? And he released one with Lady Gaga that was called Die With a Smile. And honestly, it's pretty good. Most things Gaga is in, like if Lady Gaga's in it, I'm probably going to listen to it because she's just an icon and I just love Lady Gaga. But yeah, so that was pretty good. But he just released a song called, and I hope I don't get this backwards because I've been saying it backwards. I think it's called Fat, Juicy, and Wet, or Wet, Fat, and Juicy. Fat, Wet, and Juicy? Something to that nature. I don't know. Go look it up. But I should have looked it up. What am I talking about? Anyway. Yeah, that's the name of it. And it is interesting, to say the least. And I think it's interesting coming from Bruno Mars in particular because he's the I'm gonna catch a grenade for you guy. He's the I should have bought you flowers guy. He's the Versace on the floor guy. Like overall he's pretty classy. Like I don't know how else to describe him. If you think like Vegas residency, yeah, like he's kind of up there for that because he fits a Vegas vibe. Anyway, so I just think this is kind of out of left field and I'm not mad at it. Van doesn't think it's very good. I'm not mad at it, but if you want to talk about a song that is, fat, juicy, and wet, WAP is the original, Wet Ass Pussy. Like, and it still stands, I think, as the better of the two is Wet Ass Pussy, WAP. So, if you're going to compare them, I think Van ought to make a mashup where it's Bruno Mars's Fat, what is it? Fat, Juicy, and Wet? I think that's what it is. And then WAP, and they go together. Anyway, the man's clearly in debt and he's trying to get out of it. But it's not as good as WAP. But I'm curious to see where this new version of Bruno goes. Like he's it's kind of different for him. So I'm really interested. How tall is Bruno Mars? He's like 5'5", 5'6", maybe. My microphone is like slowly falling down. Let's see how tall Bruno Mars is. Short king, that much I know. Mans is a short king. Okay, height is not one of the first things listed. 5'5". I'm 5'7", so he is 2 inches shorter than me. And 2 inches is, as we all know, a big deal. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, shout out to the short king. Yeah, shout out to the short king. He's got fat, juicy, and wet. I don't know what else to say. I was looking for... He has a signature guitar, apparently, which is a signature Stratocaster. I'm looking at it. I didn't know this. Wow. It looks like... Don't flame me. I will say caramel and not caramel. It looks like caramel. It's kind of pretty. It's very much his vibe. Like, it's a very 70s vibe. Now, I won't pretend to know anything about guitars, because I don't. But Van does. And so when we were talking about Fat, Juicy, and Wet... Fat, Wet, and Juicy? I'm going to have to look it up. He brought it up. Like, this guy, he has a signature guitar, and I didn't know that. I didn't know he was much of a guitar player. I thought he was more of a, like, singer-songwriter, not as much guitar player. Was that... Sorry, I thought I saw a cheetah print one, and I got really interested. Because that's iconic. Anyway. I really want this is off topic, but I really want the Hello Kitty Fender collab. It's so cute. The t-shirts and everything and the sweatshirts. They're so cute. I bet they're sold out now, but at the time, when they first came out, they were so cute. He has like a group that he plays with a lot, and now I can't think of who it is. Doesn't he play with a group, like, pretty frequently? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody? I do not know that much about Bruno Mars, but he's getting that money, apparently. His song with Lady Gaga had a 4th week at number 1 on Billboard Hot 100. So, like, that's kind of cool. Oh, Silk Sonic. That's what I was thinking. Isn't that who I'm thinking of? Let's just open Spotify. I don't know. Sorry if this wasn't what you wanted to talk about today, because now we're just talking about Bruno Mars. Oh, I thought it was going to play. Anyway, that's not really important. What is important is that you should go listen to it and then immediately go listen to WAP, because you should just compare them. Also, I think Lady Gaga is in the music video for Fat, Juicy, and Wet. So that's kind of cool. She's not on the track, but she's in the music video. So, yeah, I don't really know what that's about. All right, let's move on. So last week, me and Waffles and I, if you will, we went down a bit of a rabbit hole. So if you don't know, most Tuesdays, I get on the phone with Waffles and I talk to Waffles for a little bit. And this last week, I was like, I don't know how we got here. I started talking about how I had a Tumblr when I was in high school, and I was pretty big on Tumblr. And then we fell down some rabbit hole of like trying to get into my old Tumblr. Spoiler alerts, I think I deleted it because I had to go through a whole process of like recovering the email that was attached to it and trying to figure out what the email was and like I couldn't figure out the username for Tumblr, and anyway, it was a whole rabbit hole, but that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Spoiler, like I said, we didn't find my Tumblr. I'm pretty sure I deleted it. But what I did find in my old email, because the email that was attached to my old Tumblr and the email that I currently use are 2 different emails. And so in that old email, when I was really young, in high school and even before high school, it was fun to go down this rabbit hole of like, even though I couldn't get into the Tumblr, I had Tumblr emails. Like I had emails from Tumblr that were like, here are some things on your dashboard. And so like I kind of got a sense of what I was doing at the time, the things I was reblogging and commenting on and liking and whatnot. And that was just so nostalgic. We ended up looking at getting into my fanfiction.net account, which fanfiction.net still exists. And I didn't know that. Most people, if I mention fanfiction, they'll say Wattpad. And I was not a big Wattpad person. I felt like the quality of fanfiction was not very good on Wattpad. But also AO3. AO3 was the other big fanfiction site. And I wasn't big on AO3, but I was really big on fanfiction.net. And so, and I know that I wrote fanfiction and posted it on fanfiction.net, but I can't find it. I looked. It does not exist anywhere. I had to have deleted it. Probably I had to have hit a stage at one point where I was like, this is going to embarrass me later in life. I should delete it. And I just know that's what happened, because that's what happened with my Facebook, is that I was like, this is going to embarrass me later on. I better go through and delete everything. But it's kind of sad. I really wish I hadn't deleted my Tumblr, and I really wish I hadn't deleted my fanfiction, because like that's a part of me that I'll never have access to again. Like I'll never get to witness again in the same way, right? Like I have the memories of it. Let me walk you through. I was a big fandom person. Now obviously I was on Tumblr, had everything, and so I was on a lot of different sides of Tumblr, and I was on like the photography side, I was on the trigger warning, I was on the eating disorder side of Tumblr as well, and then I was on the mental health / mental illness side of Tumblr, and so I was on a lot of sides of Tumblr. But mostly I was a big fandom person. Like I really felt like I had a home in the fandom part of Tumblr. And I didn't have a lot of friends in person. and I really had a hard time making friends, and I had a hard time connecting with people, but I was safe. I had a lot of friends on Tumblr. Like, I had a lot of people that I talked to, and I was mutuals with, and we were blogged each other's stuff and commented on each other's stuff. And yeah, like, those were real friendships to me, because that was all I knew. Like, I didn't really have anything else. And I felt safe there. Like, that I had a home in that side of Tumblr. And so I really enjoyed that. I really had a good time with it, and I really had fun. But I was also really embarrassed about it. And I was really like, you know, because I'm showing it to Waffles at the same time. We're in Discord, and so I'm screen sharing like all of my attempts to log in, and the emails that I got, and like whatever else, the fan fiction account, and anyway. And it was embarrassing, even as much as like I trust Waffles, right? Like, he's not going to go tell anybody, and I'm telling everybody anyway, so it doesn't matter. But like, he's not judging me, and I know that. But there is something about knowing you had a cringy past and then sharing that with other people that is so vulnerable. That's so vulnerable. And I think we live in a society as well that's like, it's just not okay to be cringy. Like, people really, really try to distance themselves from being cringy. And I did that. I deleted my Tumblr. I deleted all my Facebook stuff. I deleted, you know, my fan fiction, because I was so afraid of being cringy. And Waffles sent me a very nice message later, I think later that day. And he was just like, hey, like, we've all been kids. We've all done cringy stuff. There's no judgment. There's no, like, you know, you are who you are now, cringy or not cringy, and, you know, we love and accept you. And I really appreciated that. That was very sweet. And I think having taken the week to think about it, I feel a lot more, like, kind and gentle towards young me, who had a fan fiction stage and a Tumblr stage and all of that. I feel very nostalgic about that. I feel very loving, I think, to that person that I used to be. Anyway, yes, and it brought back a lot of memories, I think, of just times when I was miserable as a kid. And I say kid, I was a teenager, but I was miserable, and I found, you know, safety and solace in fiction, and in being a part of a group that also enjoyed the fiction that I was a part, like, that I enjoyed. And I used that as a way to escape my problems. And, you know, I continued to do that as I got older. I continued to read and everything. Obviously, I grew out of the fandom stage. Like, my frontal lobe started to develop, and other things became priority, but I still have a love for that. I have a love and a nostalgia, I think, for fandom and what fandom was. Like, to give you an idea, I was a part of the Super Hulock fandom, which is very cringy and nerdy. It was Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock were the big three Tumblr fandoms, and I was in all three of them. And yeah, I just loved them. I loved it, and I was so engrossed and immersed in them, and they were a big part of my life. I remember when I was young. I don't remember how young. Definitely, like, freshly in high school, I'd say. So I was not cool yet. Not that I was ever cool in high school, but I didn't have any concept of what was cool. And Hot Topic released these Doctor Who themed dresses, and they also had Supernatural ones, where it was like the Doctor's outfit, but it was in dress form. I'll have to find a picture, see if I can put it up here, but I wanted one so bad, and I went shopping with my grandparents at one point, and I tried to explain to them why it was important to me that I wanted this dress, and they did not grasp it. They didn't get it. They got it for me. They bought the dress for me, but they did not understand the importance of it, or what it was, or like anything of that nature. But I remember that, and I wore that dress proudly with a pair of maroon tights more than once. More than once. And I also think I had a TARDIS necklace from Doctor Who, and I wore that a couple times. I definitely wore that. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I read a lot of fan fiction. I think at that point I was deep in the Harry Potter fan fiction. I was a big Hermione person. That's Draco and Hermione, if you're not familiar. I was also a big Hermione and Fred Weasley person. I thought they were just like meant for each other. And I felt that even more so after I found out that the author had intended for them to get together, and then realized that people wanted her with Ron, and so she just like didn't do it. And that was, I really was upset about that. So yeah, I was big into that, and I was big into, what else did I read? I think there was some Percy Jackson, because Rick Riordan is still releasing books, and was still releasing books at the time. And so there were still Percy Jackson books coming out at that point. And yeah, I think I read some Percy Jackson fan fiction. If there was a fandom like that existed, I probably read the fan fiction. Like if there was a fandom that existed and I was in that fandom, I probably read that fan fiction. Like I don't know. If I watched a TV show or read a book or anything during that time, there's a good chance I read fan fiction about it. Another one is, I was big into Marvel, that much I know. And I also really, really wanted Hawkeye and Black Widow to get together. I was really disappointed when they didn't get together. And so I think I read that too. Man, this is so cringy. Like, it's so nerdy. I also loved Star Wars. I know I read Star Wars fan fiction. I might have even written some that wasn't very good. Anyway, yeah, I think it was a good lesson in like embracing your past, I guess, and embracing, because I am who I am because of that. Like, I am nerdy and I'm weird and like, yeah, like I'm so quirky, guys. I'm so quirky. No, I'm just like, it is true. Like that shaped, I spent a lot of unregulated time on the internet. Like I had a lot of unregulated access to the internet. And so I definitely am who I am, partly because of that, of the time I spent on Tumblr, of my lack of friends and finding solace in fiction and reading and fandom. Anyway, so yeah, that was fun. That was, I wish I'd had it recorded, me falling down all these rabbit holes, but obviously there's doxing information. My email addresses I don't want out on the internet, whatever. But it was just kind of fun. And there is this is so stupid, but I do feel a sadness about not being able to access my old Tumblr. I feel that pretty deeply. I just think it is a part of who I am, and I would have loved to revisit that, at this time. But anyway, so yeah, it's just kind of funny. I guess I'm bearing my soul a little bit. Don't judge me. Or do. I don't really care. But yeah, that was just kind of fun. I got to embrace that, and I got to reminisce a little bit on what it was like to just be so entrenched in that life, I guess. So anyway, that's kind of all I have to say. It's kind of short today. But, before we go, I will show you. These are my juggling balls. I be juggling balls. I do be practicing. I'm not very good though. So I probably won't do it for you now. But yeah, aren't they cute? Little pink and black. So yeah, I am determined, like I said, to really do this. So I'll keep you updated. But these are the balls I'll be practicing with. Alright guys, well, have a good week. Let me know what cringy things you did in high school. or in your childhood, or, you know, whatever else. Yeah. Anyway, shout out to Waffles. I asked Waffles, what should I talk about this week? And he said you should talk about me. So here I am doing just that. Well, guys, see you later. I got things to do. Bye.